So welcome everybody to our second interview with Ambica, the Group Chief Data Officer of Michelin. Thank you very much for joining us, Ambica, today.
Thank you, Julian. The first part was super fun, so super excited for the next part of our series of conversations.
Exactly. And last time you referred to it, we talked about the why. We understood that it's really important for Michelin as a tire manufacturer to focus on internal processes, to improve them with AI, actually to drive the sustainability value to our customers, while at the same time looking to the external world, looking into how to position Michelin in the digital world with AI, and obviously then also using AI to think about this touch point that your tires have with reality, with the sensors and the information you can gather from millions of people driving around and what services to create around it. So quite an exciting journey. There's a lot of things that you could explore. What we would like to know today is, how do you make this a reality? How do we approach this? In our last conversation, you also told me, look, Julian, there's much people talking about Gen AI and AI models and agents, but the real question we have in an organization is understanding what are those data products that we need to establish in a company? What is our data governance and strategy? Because that's really the core resource.
Yeah.
So can you give us perhaps just starting with just a understanding what would be a typical data product at the Michelin and how does this embed into your strategy of advancing with data and AI?
Yeah, I think when there is when a particular technology, let's say, is pretty high, in the hype cycle, the deeper questions get less airtime in the conversation, and that's what I hope to address a little bit in our section here today, and in it's so. The AI that is really core and useful to any enterprise, in fact, is AI that is specific, that models processes, domains, knowledge that is specific to that particular enterprise. And of course, for this, the enterprise needs to have data that is of a sufficient volume, that's of sufficient variety, that's of sufficient quality, to be available, to be able to train the models. And not only that, typically, in order to have to go beyond a sort of a proof of concept or POC phase to a broader impact, to have more scale and impact, you also need this data to be of scale as well. And for enterprises that have that are as distributed as Michelin is, with a number of lines of businesses, more than 100 countries presence, and multiple ways to look at the same data set, a variety of systems and applications in our IT infrastructure and IT systems. This can become a daunting task. So the approach that we have taken. So first of all, I think the first part that we addressed, that became a core part of the way we are thinking about data at Michelin today, is to make data an operational lever for the heads of our businesses and operational directions. And specifically, what I mean by that is, first of all, we introduced to the organization the concept of a data product. So what is a data product? A data product is a data set that, in fact, we believe can be of use for multiple insights, right? So, for example, we could look at the volume and price data that we may get at the point of or that the sale is made in a particular geography. So this basically data has the actual demand that we saw at that for that particular geography, but could also include what kind of products did we actually sell, what was the fluctuation in the let's say seasonal fluctuation that we saw in the amount that we were able to sell in a particular geography, and may also of course include the price fluctuation by product. So this in and of itself can become a data product, because as you can imagine, it can drive a number of insights. So the first one, of course, being our ability to forecast future demand in a relatively accurate way. So this is a classic example of a data product, and what we have built together with our together with the various businesses is really to build a strategy that is centered around identification of critical such data products that the business believes is necessary, for them to have the right level of insights over the next couple of years.
So there's a lot of things that are very rich in what you just said. Let me perhaps jump right on one thing that I find fascinating is making this link from the business driving what we want to achieve towards data products. Because very often in organizations, unfortunately, we talk about data and data and data, but it stays like a tech topic. And then
Yes,
stuff
exactly.
is not matching what we want to do from a business side. So how do you do that? I need
Yeah.
Michelin to organize a business to think about data products.
What is the change that we have brought about in the thinking around data in the last few years, essentially and very effectively. So fundamentally, data is viewed as a technology topic, and the kinds of questions that are asked around data sets is, well, how much, when are we going to collect it, when is it going to be available in the data lake, is it going to be available real time? And while these questions are very important and very relevant, and of course, we are invested in building the state of the art solutions to handle all of these, let's say, technical aspects of data. There is another huge part, which is this in fact the right data set for the use that I want?
Right.
Is it going to bring me the kind of strategic insights that I really need, that a business leader needs to steer his business or understand his customers, or deliver the right level of value and quality to his or her customers? So these are the questions that in fact we brought to the forefront, and what we worked with various leaders of businesses within Michelin is to really start with their what their let's say polar star for the next over, let's say, the next from today to 6 years. What are the kind of things that they would really like, that they believe are super important for them to grow in their business and to serve their customers better? And from this, we essentially traced back to the kind of data sets, the kind of data product that would be required to, in fact, make these insights possible. And that's it. And that essentially, brought a different kind of thinking, and we were able to then, build these kind of data products, and the data-driven transformation of Michelin. It's well on its way through this.
That's fascinating. And Ambica, can you just give a little bit more insight how you make this a success? Because I fully agree with you. This is really needed. But what I see happening a lot in organizations is that even if the business understands this,
Yeah.
passing on the ball to the data and AI guys way too early, right? Before
Yes.
they even think about what do we need to prioritize. And then we are
Yes.
having the domain expertise of saying, which is actually a data product that is critical, and even perhaps what type of source could we be using, is something
Yes.
that is then not owned by the business. How do you get them to actually go all the way to something that is then meaningful and that can you really work with?
Yeah, I think that's a super interesting question, because in fact, what you're alluding to is a kind of link, right? That exists between the technical side and the pure business side of handling of data. And in fact, this is an organizational question. Where should this link lie? What should this linking role really do? And in answer to this, we have set up and matured a network of data owners. Essentially, these are highly empowered strategic roles that essentially are responsible for identifying the right data products in a particular domain of business, and also ensuring that these data products are built and maintained over time to continue to answer the growing needs of the businesses. And these data owners, we so personally as well, I'm a great believer in the power of community. I believe that the bringing people together to allow them to really think through complicated aspects, like create like essentially building a data culture in a group, allowing a group of empowered participants in the network to really over time build that connection and build solutions together. It's super powerful, and essentially this is critical to complement any top down strategy, and that's what we have done. So we have an empowered data owner network that over the years has really been the way that this we have really driven data products and the culture around that at Michelin.
And how do you do one more question here, Ambica, because I
Oh,
think network and putting the data product owners close to the business reality is really critical.
yes, yes,
The problem that
absolutely,
you
and that's what they said. Yes.
Now, the problem, of course, that you have is that everyone is developing their own data products, and then the convergence that you need so that one use case, you mentioned it before, right? How do we make sure the use case is scalable from one area to another? So how do you create conformity between all those different data products?
Yes. And this is really where the network effect really comes into play, because once you have first of all we have the organizational network of the data owners that are building the data mesh at Michelin, the mesh of data products together. But not only that, we've also invested we our definition of a data product essentially includes discoverability and accessibility. What this means is that anyone at Michelin can in fact go onto a central site, and in fact is able to see the kind of data products that are already available, that in specific domains, and the data. So this is in addition to the fact that the data owners themselves through the network are essentially exchanging this information, building connection between the various teams that are looking to build insights on top of data sources. And gradually these pathways of exchanging information, of understanding, of collaboration become strengthened in the organization and become the way that we work.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Ambica, for sharing that. Let me try to summarize a little bit. I think the vision that you have is to say we need to advance on data and AI, but we need to make it specific to us. Because obviously you
Mhm.
need to think about your competitive advantage. The specificity comes from establishing strong own data products and having those data products close to the business reality. Therefore, having a role that we call now data owners within Michelin, that are working closely with the business to see what is it that they want to achieve, translate this into data products, and then leverage the community and network effects to see that you have some conformity between those data products that you establish. And that's how you ensure that Michelin is going in the right direction.
Yep, and you got it.
Wonderful. So thank you very much, Ambica. In the next talk, we will actually talk about what have you learned on this journey, right? From failures, but perhaps also best practices, and what are some personal tips that you have for the world of people who would like to move more towards data AI. So thank you very much for joining us, Ambica, this time.
Wonderful. Thank you, Julia, and looking forward to the next episode.
Perfect.